So Jim Geltch, I manage Nuffield Australia, live down in southern New South Wales, Moama, on the Victoria-New South Wales border, and manage Nuffield Australia from that position, but also I'm also Secretary of Nuffield International, so I actually have a responsibility of managing the Nuffield program globally, which is pretty exciting. Oh, look, I think the initiative is brilliant. We'd expect nothing less from a Nuffield scholar, of course. But no, look, seriously, I think that is obviously an issue out here in Western Queensland. I think it's an issue that arises in various parts of Australia at different times in different circumstances. But certainly, I think he's, the breadth of people that he's actually been able to bring together here is quite extraordinary. And the wish is that out of this conversation we've had today and tomorrow morning, that something meaningful will come out of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good question. I think there's, you can look at it from one perspective and say, look, the debt to equity ratio is such that probably, look, they're better off perhaps walking away, taking what equity they can out of it, and perhaps going on and trying to build a life in another area, maybe in agriculture in some form or another. The other alternative is to look at opportunities of perhaps getting an equity partner in, perhaps selling part of the land off, reduce the debt, going back to the bank, trying to negotiate some other terms. I think there's many different ways of achieving it. But as I said in the forum today, I think the key to this is ensuring that they've actually got the passion to be able to want to actually proceed. They need to want to do it. And that must be very difficult given the circumstances that have occurred over here over the last few years, to be able to continually get up in the morning and want to go to work with a passion and trying to achieve an outcome. So look, it's not easy, but I think ultimately what we're trying to achieve out of this is to maybe some lessons, if you like. I think people have had varying experiences, and hopefully that can impart to some people that maybe not in the situation that Rob and Marg are actually in, but perhaps are facing some difficulties but are in a retrievable situation. Well, look, it's a good question. We talked about, for the want of a better word, financial literacy. I think, obviously, as a nation, agriculture generally needs to lift its game in terms of financial literacy. Now, it certainly was indicated tonight there are some people, obviously, who are doing that very well, because there's, across Australia, there's some outstanding examples, and it's not all doom and gloom in Australian agriculture. I think when you reach these circumstances we have out here in Western Queensland at this particular point in time, I think a really strong, robust support system within the community is absolutely essential, but hopefully underpinned by some really sound financial understanding of their business. Well, actually, my favourite breed of cattle is the Brahman. Now, that's interesting. I've actually just come back from South Africa not long ago, and I was gobsmacked by the versatility and I think the hardiness of that animal. And the question, of course, is why Brahman are not in Australia? Presumably outperform Brahmans hands down. That's what they tell me in South Africa anyhow. So I'm prepared to take their word for it.
People can create real opportunities for each other, and I implore you to join Agrihive as a platform to be able to explore those opportunities and to build resilience in our rural regions.